They see the big lie, and oh my gosh, it's so big. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yahweh's creation. Yours truly, Dave vonKleist, hosting the WTF Reports. And yes, I'm pantsing the media. Yeah, it's not hard to do. They've screwed up really bad, and guess what, media? You won't be trusted anymore. All right, hello, everybody. It's a Thursday. It is the 8th of May, 2025, and as usual, we are broadcasting for the most confused, dumbed down, manipulated, and brainwashed nation on the face of the planet, bringing you news, information, and audio receipts they hope and pray you never hear. Oh, man, I tell you, every day is so interesting. It's like it's like a real-life soap opera, and you can't help but want to know what's going to happen next. You just can't. For those of us who have had our eyes opened and are paying attention and are following the bouncing ball of corruption everywhere we look, it's sometimes it's overwhelming, but I have to sit back sometimes and I just laugh. I mean, it's everywhere you look. And it's going to come to a head. It has to come to a head. Things can't keep going on like this. When I first started my talk radio career back in the 90s, I said that we're either going to have a full-blown knockdown, drag-em-out revolution and straighten things out in this country, or we're going to end up having to sit back and wait for it to collapse under the weight of its own corruption. And I think that's what we're seeing. And because of the level of corruption that's now being exposed on so many different fronts, it's unbelievable. It's staggering. Whether it be the health front or the financial front or the political front or the military front. I mean, so many fronts. And yeah, for those of us who have the courage to stare the monster in the eyes, yeah, we're getting more and more empowered every single day. Now, it's been said that, the overwhelming majority of Americans, and indeed people of the world, they don't want to pay attention. It upsets their schema of the world. It rocks their boat. And that's why they stick their heads in the sand, Ignorance truly is bliss, and you don't want to upset their bliss, so they want to remain ignorant. They don't want to know. Oh, the news is boring. It's depressing. I don't watch the news anymore. Well, that's how you stay misinformed or uninformed, and when you're uninformed, you're easily led astray. Anyway, that said, I as you regular listeners know, I provide the audio receipts here. I mean, you will occasionally hear me give my opinion on certain topics, and I'm proud to do so, but I bring you the audio receipts, and for the most part, most of the clips that I play, and again, I gather them from several different news sources, and I have to say, X is amazing. There's so much stuff being put out on X. And yes, there's to a certain extent on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, but I also have several different news feeds that I go through, and I pick up these audio receipts, these audio clips, and play them on the radio, so you get to hear directly from the horse's mouth what was said. Now, for the most part, these clips, I keep them to, usually not more than 2 or 3 minutes. But once in a while, and this is one of those once in a whiles, I want to play the entire clip so you can hear exactly what was said. And so I'm going to play this. We have a new Surgeon General. Her name is Casey Means. And this clip is about 6 minutes long, and I'm going to play the entire thing because you need to hear it. This woman is so dead on the money. She exposes so much, and she gets a standing ovation after she gives her presentation. And after you hear it, you'll understand why she got a standing ovation. This woman is amazing. I can't wait for her to roll up her sleeves and work side by side with RFKjr to clean up the mess that has become our medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry. Wait till you hear this. I'm going to let this whole thing play. It's about 6 minutes long, and it needs to be heard. So, and again, and this is our brand new Surgeon General of the United States nominee, Dr. Casey Means. Listen to this woman totally decimate the entire medical and pharmaceutical industry. Here she is.
Think that the American healthcare system and our government agencies would be clamoring to fix metabolic health and reduce American suffering and costs. But they're not. They are deafeningly silent about metabolic dysfunction and its known causes. It's not an overstatement to say that I learned virtually nothing at Stanford Medical School about the tens of thousands of scientific papers that elucidate these root causes of why American health is plummeting and how environmental factors are causing it. For instance, in medical school, I did not learn that for each additional serving of ultra-processed food we eat, early mortality increases by 18%. This now makes up 67% of the foods our kids are eating. I took 0 nutrition courses in medical school. I didn't learn that 82% of independently funded studies show harm from processed food, while 93% of industry-sponsored studies reflect no harm. In medical school, I didn't learn that 95% of the people who created the recent USDA food guidelines for America had significant conflicts of interest with the food industry. I did not learn that 1 billion pounds of synthetic pesticides are being sprayed on our food every single year. 99% of the farmland in the United States is sprayed with synthetic pesticides, many from China and Germany. And these invisible, tasteless chemicals are strongly linked to autism, ADHD, sex hormone disruption, thyroid disease, sperm dysfunction, Alzheimer's, dementia, birth defects, cancer, obesity, liver dysfunction, female infertility, and more, all by hurting our metabolic health. I did not learn that the 8 billion tons of plastic that have been produced just in the last 100 years, plastic was only invented about 100 years ago, are being broken down into microplastics that are now filling our food, our water, and we are now even inhaling them in our air. And that very recent research from just the past couple of months tells us that now about 0.5% of our brains by weight are now plastic. I didn't learn that there are more than 80,000 toxins that have entered our food, water, air, and homes by industry, many of which are banned in Europe, and they are known to alter our gene expression, alter our microbiome composition and the lining of our gut, and disrupt our hormones. I didn't learn that heavy metals like aluminum and lead are present in our food, our baby formula, personal care products, our soil, and many of the mandated medications like vaccines, and that these metals are neurotoxic and inflammatory. I didn't learn that the average American walks a paltry 3,500 steps per day, even though we know, based on science and top journals, that simply walking 7,000 steps a day slashes by 40 to 60% our risk of Alzheimer's, dementia, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and obesity. I certainly did not learn that medical error and medications are the 3rd leading cause of death in the United States.
Wow.
I didn't learn that just 5 nights of sleep deprivation can induce full-blown prediabetes. I learned nothing about sleep, and we're getting about 20% less sleep on average than we were 100 years ago. I didn't learn that American children are getting less time outdoors now than a maximum security prisoner. And on average, adults spend 93% of their time indoors, even though we know from the science that separation from sunlight destroys our circadian biology, and circadian biology dictates our cellular biology. I didn't learn that professional organizations that we get our practice guideline from, like the American Diabetes Association and American Academy of Pediatrics, have taken tens of millions of dollars from Coke, Cadbury, processed food companies, and vaccine manufacturers like Moderna. I didn't learn that if we address these root causes that all lead to metabolic dysfunction and help patients change their food and lifestyle patterns with united, strong voice, we could reverse the chronic disease crisis in America, save millions of lives and trillions of dollars in healthcare costs per year. Instead, doctors are learning that the body is 100 separate parts, and we learn how to drug, we learn how to cut, and we learn how to bill. I'll close by saying that what we are dealing with here is so much more than a physical health crisis. This is a spiritual crisis.
Wow. It's a spiritual crisis, and look at the applause she's getting. People are getting it. We are in a spiritual war.
We are choosing death over light. We are choosing death over life. We are choosing darkness over light for people and the planet, which are inextricably linked. We are choosing to erroneously believe that we are separate from nature and that we can continue to poison nature and then outsmart it. Our path out will be a renewed respect for the miracle of life and a renewed respect for nature. We can restore health to Americans rapidly with smart policy and courageous leadership. We need a return to courage. We need a return to common sense and intuition. We need a return to awe for the sheer miraculousness of our lives. We need all hands on deck. Thank you.
Wow. Holy mackerel. This woman hit it right on the head. And I've been saying this, I begin many of the programs reminding you that the globalist agenda, the elitists, have one goal, and that is to reduce the population by any means necessary. And we look at the actions that have been taken by the pharmaceutical companies, the medical establishment, and it seems like, yes, their goal is not to save lives, but to very stealthily get rid of life. And yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but you know, the other day I played an audio clip from Dr. Arne Burkhardt, and he was talking about the lipid particles that are accumulating in the testes of men and replacing the sperm. Now, this sounds crazy, but I'm going to replay this clip because you put the puzzle pieces together, folks. Here's Dr. Arne Burk, and again, he has a thick accent, and you can hear that he's very nervous talking about this. By the way, you can do a little search on him. He's a very respected physician. Listen to what he had to say, and I'm going to play this again.
More or less explicitly, and here you see a case where we show the testes, and you can see that in this 28-year-old man who had a healthy son and who died 140 days after injection, the spike protein is strongly expressed in the spermatogenic organ in the testis, and you can see there are almost no spermatocytes in here, but it's strongly expression of spike protein in the spermatogonic tissue. So also in elder persons, this is an old man, and you can see here's also a strong expression in the spermatogonia. There's not one single spermatozoon in this, and a strong expression of the spike protein. So if I may make a personal comment, this is not a scientific comment. If I were a woman in fertile age, I would not plan a motherhood from a man who has been vaccinated, unless...
People are getting it.
I think these pictures are very disturbing, very disturbing.
Mm-hmm. So the lipid particles are directly affecting the male reproductive function. All right. So what about the female reproductive function? Well, a regular clip that I play, or shall I say a person who makes a lot of these clips, Dr. Naomi Wolf was being interviewed on the Alex Jones show, and in regard to those lipid particles, which you just heard Dr. Arne Burkhardt talking about how the lipid particles are replacing the spermatozoa, and well, what's happening to women? Here's Dr. Naomi Wolf to explain.
Alex, COVID is a respiratory infection, arguably, right? It's supposed to be. Well, there's very little in the Pfizer documents on lungs. It's all about, not all, the centerpiece of it is about sex and reproduction. So what you've got is the lipid nanoparticles accumulating in the ovaries and blocking the ovaries, and there's no way they leave the body, right? So first injection in the ovaries, second injection more, third injection more. And so what you have now is, along with women with horrific menstrual dysregulation, hormonal dysregulation, you've also got blocked ovaries, which nurses are seeing in women's abdominal surgeries. The lipid nanoparticles traverse the placenta. The lipid nanoparticles suppress semen. Actually, in the Pfizer documents, they tell vaccinated men not to have intercourse with unvaccinated women without using two reliable forms of contraception.
By the way, that in their own documents, they say a man can shed it to a woman. So this is literally a torpedo aimed right at the goddess, right at the woman.
Oh, that's a beautiful way to put it, but that's exactly right. It's about destroying women and babies, for sure. But also emasculating men, because the lipid nanoparticles degrade the testes of baby boys in utero, including the Leydig cells and Sertoli cells, which generate masculine hormones at adolescence and turn boys into men. So we don't even know if the babies of vaccinated moms will grow up to be normal men. There's an 8-page report on pregnancy and lactation that shows that this injection kills babies in utero. They had 2 babies die that were in their moms, in utero, and Pfizer concluded that it was the deaths were due to maternal exposure to the vaccine. And this report was sent on April 21st, 2021 to the White House. April 23rd, 2021, Dr. Walensky, who had the report and knew this injection was killing babies and poisoning nursing babies, told the pregnant women of America that it was safe and effective and that there was no bad time to have your injection before, during, or after your pregnancy. And she knew that this would kill babies.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, are you getting it yet? Are you getting it yet? That's why I've been telling everybody, their number one goal, the globalist goal, is to reduce the population drastically by any and all means necessary. Now, again, I want to play another clip here, and then I'm going to refer. As a matter of fact, why don't I refer to this document first? And I've shared this in the past, and it's worth sharing again. Okay, now I'm holding in my hand a document from the U.S. Army War College. It is dated July 25th of 1994. The title of this paper is The Revolution in Military Affairs and Conflict Short of War, written by Stephen Metz and James Kivett. Now, in this article, or shall I say in this paper, in this document, on page 9, and by the way, if you look it up, and I hope you do your research. Hey, fact check me. Fact check me. I double dog, triple dog dare you. Do your research. All right, page 9 of this document, I read, certain biotechnical weapons considered by some to violate the Biological Warfare Convention, to which the United States is a signatory, also may transgress American values regarding appropriate means. Most Americans would not support the use of a weapon designed to target only a specific racial or ethnic group in anything less than a war for survival of the nation. Could this government and military of this multi-ethnic republic face charges that it was developing or using a weapon targeting Africans, Jews, Koreans, Hispanics, etc.? Would defense against such a charge occupy the attention of policymakers to the detriment of other essential business? And even accidental injuries or deaths caused by, quote, non-lethal anti-material substances could be politically damaging. Okay, now you just heard the question is being raised, and again, I'll read it again. Could the use of such a weapon designed to target only a specific racial or ethnic group in anything less than a war for survival of the nation? Could the government and military of this multi-ethnic republic face charges that it was developing or using a weapon targeting Africans, Jews, Koreans, Hispanics, etc.? Now, with that in mind, again, that document is from 1994. So now let's visit with Robert Kennedy Jr. And again, I played this clip about a week ago. I will play it again. You need to listen carefully to what he had to say about this jab, the hokey pokey thingy dingy. Here it is.
Team is targeted to attack Caucasians and
okay, I'm going to start it again.
COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese.
Okay, I'm going to pause that. Did you hear what he just said? The COVID-19 hokey pokey thingy dingy was designed to target Chinese. I'm sorry. Well, here, it's a short clip. Here it is again. Oh, come on, Dave.
COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people.
Okay, it's targeting Caucasians, white people, and black people. Okay, hey, RFK, who is it not affecting?
The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews.
The most immune are the Ashkenazi Jews and
Chinese.
And the Chinese. Now, this is exactly what they were referring to in this document from 1994. This is madness. This is madness, folks. Well, some people are waking up. I got so many doggone clips. I know I'm not going to get to them. Not only that, but I got to open up the phone lines. Oh, I would be so remiss if I did not do that. So the phone lines are now officially open. If you want to belly up to the telephone bar, give me your opinion. Do you think I'm crazy? You think I'm nuts? You think I'm wackadoodle? You think I got one oar in the water? You think I got bubbles in my think tank? You think I'm several cards short of a deck? Yeah, right. Anyway, yeah, the phone number here, you want to belly up to the bar, it's 215-867-8255. Again, I'll say it faster so you can't understand any of it, right? 215-867-8255. Okay, so we're focusing in right now on what the ramifications are with our healthcare system and the pharmaceutical system. And I think it's not hard to understand that they really don't have your best interest in mind. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find this other clip here. That's the wrong button to push. Let's see here. Let me see. I got so many clips here. I have to go through them all. Let's see here. Let me see. Dismantle. Okay, here it is. Listen to this one. Here, this is. Oh gosh, listen to this.
As a lifelong doctor, if there was one thing you could change, if there was one institution, policy, practice, thing that you've seen in the industry over your career that you would change, what would it be?
Okay, I'm going to pause it. This is Royce White. He is a podcaster and an influencer, and he's talking to Dr. Pierre Corey. Now, here's what Dr. Corey has to say.
I would dismantle the whole vaccine apparatus. I think for several reasons. I think that they're destroying the health of our children and our country. Do you know what it's like for a family to have an autistic kid who's nonverbal? Their entire lives are altered from that moment forth. I have patients who have vaccine-injured autistic kids who are totally dependent on them, even as adults. They know their kids will never leave the house. They need to be home all the time. Caring for someone like that is so destructive to not only the child's lives, the parents' lives, and there's many, many of them out there. That's just one little snippet of the vaccines. And number two, like I said, they're unnecessary. They're built on myths. And the illnesses that are exploding, like this chronic disease epidemic that Bobby talks about, a lot of us talk about, yeah, there's other causes, right? Our food is getting polluted, our food additives, agriculture, pesticides, but vaccine's a huge one. And I know the data. Unvaccinated children are far, far healthier than others. And then, so what would someone scream at me when I say that? They were like, oh, you want a child to die from measles? I'm like, are you kidding me? You know how many kids die from measles? It's extremely rare. They'll tell me if we get rid of the vaccines, it'll come back. Not true. That's not what drove all the measles epidemics in the past. That's number one. Number two, we have really good antivirals. I know of a few more, which you can talk about later on, that I've discovered, but we have ways to treat those illnesses that you just don't need the vaccines. And I just think in terms of health, I am so angry for having been lied to for so long. The books that they write about vaccines are just false. They're false. And remember, the entire legislation in 1985 came about because the vaccine manufacturers threatened to stop manufacturing vaccines. Why? Because, and it's in the act in 1995, because they were deemed unavoidably unsafe. And they could not be liable anymore for all the injuries they were causing. So what happens is Congress gives them immunity. And what do? With that immunity, they explode our schedule, and they're jabbing every kid, and they're weaponizing. They're using legal mandates. You know, kids can't go to school in a lot of states and communities without getting fully vaccinated. And you know how many patients I have, family, like parents, come to me to save their children. And in some states, if they come to me, I tell them, here are your options: homeschool or move. Not everyone's got the disposable cash to do those two things. They're working all day. They can't just decide to homeschool. And but many of them are brought to that decision point because they don't want their kids to get vaccinated. And so I got to tell you, I think that whole vaccine myth needs to be taken down slowly or quickly or somehow. But people need to educate themselves on that. And I include all of the doctors. And I would offer two books. One is Dissolving Illusions by Kathleen Humphreys. And the other one is a masterpiece of an academic work called Turtles All the Way Down, written by 5 anonymous Israeli scientists. And they so expertly go through the entire evidence base for vaccines, and it's a devastating conclusion that we've been lied to around vaccines for so long.
Isn't that something? I tell you, people are waking up. People are figuring all this stuff out. And guess what? Let me see if I can find it. There's a Dr. Betsy Eades, E-A-D-E-S, and she's talking about shall we say, the ramifications or penalties for following through on some of these policies that have been shoved down the collective throat of the entire world. Guess what, folks? Justice is coming. Listen to this.
Patriots, Dr. Betsy Eades here today. It's Thursday in sunny Florida. So it's come to my attention that in Malaysia, the first physician was put to death under the Nuremberg Codes.
Whoa!
For giving the bioweapon vaccine and killing a patient. Now this sets a humongous precedence for the rest of the world, the rest of the nations. And it should send a tremendous signal out to nurses, doctors, and hospital staff that you can't run and hide from this anymore. There is plenty of VAERS data out there of deaths, permanent disability, and harm. There's plenty of DMED military data out there of deaths, disabilities, and harm. We now know that doctors are reimbursed hundreds of thousands of dollars to give these bioweapon vaccines. Doctors and hospitals are reimbursed up to $400,000 to give the killer combination of remdesivir and ventilation, as well as sedation, causing death. I implore the nursing staff, doctors, pharmacists, hospital staff to cease and desist and start speaking out. You know people are dying from the CDC cocktail in the hospital. You know people are dying from the bioweapon vaccines. You need to stop what you're doing. If you have to quit that job and walk away, walk away. These are crimes against humanity. You cannot run, you cannot hide, you will not be able to walk down the street.
I'm going to pause this for a second. Do you grasp the gravity of what she's saying and the gravity of what's going on? Now, I realize, that there are bots out there and algorithms that pick up on certain words like the hokey pokey thingy dingy, and I don't care. Okay, I'll let them say it. It's not me saying it. And for those of you fact checkers that are out there, hey, do your job. All right, we continue.
Nuremberg-like tribunals have started. Whether you're a doctor, a nurse, a pharmacist, a CNA, a lab tech, anyone participating in giving these bioweapon jabs or killing a patient. That includes school headmasters. That includes principals. That includes anywhere where somebody was forced to take an experimental medication without informed consent, or a CDC cocktail including ventilation or CDC without consent. Appropriate consent. I'm not talking about written consent. I'm talking about appropriate medical consent, including what ingredients they're being given, what the side effects of the product are, and what studies have been done to prove the efficacy of the product. Because we know the vaccines are bioweapons. They are lipid nanotubes or nano Q dot spot.
Okay, I'm going to stop that. Nanotechnology. Now, nanotechnology, and she's talking about little teensy-tiny microscopic robots. Nanotech, that's what this is. And then we've been talking about this stuff for decades. You know, smart dust being dropped from the planes in the chemtrails. And like I'm saying, I've been saying this for a long time. People got to pay attention. The number one goal of the globalists is to reduce the population by any and all means necessary. Okay, I could have let her continue, but she's sounding the alarm bells right now for anyone who's out there involved in any way in the medical industry, pharmaceuticals, doctors, nurses, you name it. If you're involved, you got to back out. You got to repent. You've got to say, to heck with this job. I'm not going to do this anymore. And unfortunately, I know 3 individuals when this whole pandemic thing started. I know 3 individuals who got COVID and they went to the hospital, and yes, they got the remdesivir. Yes, they were put on ventilators, and yes, all 3 of them died. And let's not forget that hospitals were being paid $13,000 for every positive test for COVID. They were paid for that. And they were also paid another $33,000. Oh, no, it was $39,000 for every patient they put on a respirator. And as far as that remdesivir crap is concerned, 53% mortality rate. Yeah, did you know that remdesivir was designed by GlaxoSmithKline and that some of the board members were working with the NIH under Anthony Fauci? Can you connect the dots? This is staggering. Well, guess what? Not everybody is stupid, okay? Not everybody is on board with this. Now, the other day, we were talking about the weather modification and how Florida has banned weather modification over the state of Florida. Now, guess what? Florida's really on this because Florida has not only banned geoengineering in their state, but Florida has also classified the mRNA technology as a bioweapon. Listen to this. Florida, you guys are on it here. Here it is.
The vaccine turns out it's back in the news.
Republican Party leaders on the Space Coast are minutes away from officially calling on the governor and other state leaders to ban mRNA-based COVID vaccines immediately. I-Team Chief Investigator Mike Magnoli has more on what exactly is going on. Mike.
Good evening, everybody. Well, in their own words, the leaders of Brevard County's GOP say that they believe the vaccines are a biological weapon.
Bingo.
As you say, this is the executive committee of the party in Brevard. They haven't hit send on this letter yet, but that vote coming up at 6:30, and I'm told it's very likely going to pass. If it does, they're asking state leadership to make it illegal to give or to take mRNA vaccines in Florida. In this 4-page letter, complete with footnotes. Brevard County Republicans cite sources which led them to a stunning conclusion. Here it is in their own words.
The vaccine turns out it's back in the news.
Okay, all right. We're going to get into all the minutia of these 4 pages of documents. But the bottom line here, yeah, Florida is officially wanting to classify the mRNA technology, the vax, the pokey thingy dingy, as a biological weapon. And well, they should. Are you connecting the dots, campers? It's staggering. It goes on and on. Let me see. I got so many other clips. I got more clips than I could ever possibly play on this program. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. No, that's not it. All right. Well, that's enough on that particular subject. I tell you what, I'm going to take a quick break to pay some bills. Here you go.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now, the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get More Tank by visiting our website. Do it. Come on, do it. You could do it. TheWTFReports.com. Visit our sponsors page and get More Tank. And if you want some technical data about it, if you're a doubting Thomas, and I encourage you to be one, go to their website, getmoretank.com. All the technical data is there. All the test results, everything is there. And once you have read through that stuff, you'll understand why and how this stuff works so well, and why your mileage will increase anywhere between 15 and 20% once you've treated your engine with this. And when you hit that gas pedal, your vehicle will go. I've experienced that right off the bat, right after I started using this stuff. I noticed that by the time I got towards through the half of my first tank, when the light turned green and I hit the gas, I was jerked back in my seat. I couldn't believe it. I said, whoa, my car never ran like that before. And it's running better, and it's saving me money in fuel. So get More Tank. It's going to cost you $20 with our promo code REDPILL101, and you'll get five tablets. That's for 5 tanks of gas, and you'll see a huge difference in the performance of your vehicle. And by the way, it works in diesel vehicles as well. So go to our website, TheWTFReports.com, and visit the sponsors page. You won't be sorry. Get More Tank. And by the way, while you're there, check out the Wave Watch. Now, some of you out there know about Rife technology. Royal Raymond Rife was working with frequencies, and he found that certain frequencies are very beneficial to your cells. Kidney cells, blood cells, skin cells, brain cells. All of these different cells have different harmonic frequencies. And these frequencies that packed into this little Wave Watch will help those cells. And at the same time, those frequencies can go after bacteria and viruses as well. Now, I'm not here to say that it's going to treat or cure anything. The FDA frowns upon making those types of claims, and I'm not claiming that. But what I am saying is that by using the Rife technology all packed into this little Wave Watch, you just may benefit from this stuff, but you'll never know unless you try it. So go to the website, TheWTFReports.com, and check out the Wave Watch. It's a pretty cool little device. I like mine. Okay, that said, once again, the phone number here, if you want to belly up to the phone bar, is 215-867-8255. All right, switching gears a little bit, we're now taking another look at what's going on with the child sex trafficking issue. And this is huge, obviously. Well, Fox News has been reporting that the Epstein files may have been destroyed. Really? Who would benefit from that? Let's see what they had to say about that one. Oh, my goodness.
Breaking news here, a third batch of documents pertaining to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein has just been released. We've been combing through this. Nate Boy has been helping us do so. He's live from our New York City newsroom. What are we learning here, Nate?
Hey, Sandra. So 29 documents were just released in the past hour, over 400 pages. We're going through it as quickly as we can. And once again, names in the Clinton family have come up. So, of course, these names coming out as part of a 2015 defamation lawsuit between Virginia Giuffre, one of the accusers who claims that she was sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's confidant. Names that were searched, or at least discussed to be searched, through Maxwell's phone as part of that defamation case include Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Prince Andrew, law.harvard.edu was one of the phrases to be searched through her phone, as well as Alan Dershowitz, the attorney. But the difference today, Hillary Clinton's name coming through, as we have seen former President Bill Clinton's name pop up each of the past 2 days. Another thing to note, Sandra, in one of the documents that was just released, there is essentially a message book that came out. It's handwritten notes for Jeffrey Epstein about who had called him. One of those notes reads, quote, "She had on the phone Mr. Harvey Weinstein." So we'll keep looking into that, as well as the rest, or as for the rest of the documents that we've had the chance to go through to this point. They explain through depositions a lot of the recruiting process for a lot of these young girls, some of them recruited by Virginia Giuffre's ex-boyfriend. Many of the girls described at Epstein's home under the age of 18, some of them from different countries. So right now, with these 29 documents being released, that makes 88 documents that have come out to this point. Giuffre's lawyers tell us that we can expect 240, and that process for those documents to be unsealed could stretch into Monday. But we'll keep going through this newest batch of documents, and we'll let you know what we find.
All right.
Interesting. Yeah, the onion is getting peeled and getting peeled and getting peeled. Let's see. What other goodies do we have on that particular topic? Oh, yes, Nancy Mace. Oh, my gosh. Nancy Mace is talking about a judge who is a pedophile sympathizer in North Carolina. Listen to this one. And load. Go ahead. There it is.
This guy is a convicted pedophile. Had over 1,000 photos and videos of kids, toddlers as young as 3. There were animals raping the kids in some of the videos and photos, and also adults. This guy had 6 indictments signed off by South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson.
Oh, South Carolina.
Plea deal that took 15 minutes. Guess what? Of the 6 indictments, 5 were dropped. How many does that leave us with? That leaves us with 1 indictment. Alan Wilson signed off on a deal where he was convicted of 1 indictment, 3rd degree. Remember, over 1,000 photos and videos of toddlers as young as 3, including animals. It's disgusting. They did the deal in 15 minutes. You want to guess how much time this pedophile served? He served 1 day in jail. It was, quote, time served. 1 day for all this. You know what that makes Alan Wilson, South Carolina's Attorney General? You know what that makes him? He protects pedophiles. He's a pedophile protector. This is disgusting. He shouldn't even be dog catcher, let alone Attorney General for South Carolina.
Yeah. So how deep is that rabbit hole? How many people are involved in this? And it's not just in South Carolina, campers. No. It's all across the board, all across the country. As a matter of fact, Colorado is also protecting pedophiles and rapists. Here's what's going on in Colorado.
Of child rapists in Colorado receive probation-only sentencing. What's worse is a predator can go on to rape 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 children. And as long as they only grape each child 1 time, they are eligible for probation-only sentencing. HB 25-1073 was going to force jail time for these predators. But apparently the Colorado majority leaders thought that it was more important to protect the child rapists than it was to protect child victims. We need to be a voice for these victims because victims aren't speaking out. This isn't happening far away. This is happening down the street from where you live. HB 25-1073 was my wake-up call. This is your Colorado wake-up call. 70% of child rapists in Colorado receive probation-only sentencing. What's worse is a predator can go on to rape 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 children. And as long as they only rape each child one time, they are eligible for probation-only sentencing.
Okay. Well, that's going on in Colorado. They're protecting all of the pedos and rapists and all that type of stuff. That's why I'm saying this is across the board. This is just, it's staggering. Now, General Flynn was discussing this when it came to the P. Diddy case. And, well, here's what General Flynn has to say.
And I wrote that X post very precisely when I said suicided watch, right? We don't want him to be suicided. Yeah, there is a mixture here, a blend of the music industry, the sports industry, especially the sports industry out there in California, in the Hollywood, Los Angeles area. I guarantee that there's also other sports figures from other parts of the country that would go to these whatever they call them, the freak parties or whatever. There are political people that we're going to find out in all this. And there are, of course, people in the media industry, because Los Angeles, in the area around there has all of those tenets. It's just like New York, there's other aspects of it. And I guarantee that if P. Diddy does not, if he's not suicided or doesn't, if something bad doesn't happen to him like happened to Epstein, then I cannot imagine him saying, yep, I'll take the hit and I'll go to prison for the rest of my life. I think what we're going to find, and I think that they already know this. I think the authorities already know exactly who, because the records that they've discovered, the kinds of things that they discovered, the level of detail that this guy, P. Diddy, did at his home tells me that he kept records on everything. He's got videos on every one. He knows, who exactly he needed in case something, in case of emergency break glass. And I guarantee he's got a plan to get out of this. He's not going to get out of it. He's going to have to speak to it. And I hope the authorities, put him under the lights and make sure that he gives up every single person. And yes, they must be held accountable. We cannot continue to go after, we're going to go after pedophiles at the lowest levels in counties and local levels like we do right now. But we've got to get to these upper echelon elites who are abusing children. 9 years old. And I guarantee they were younger than that. 9 years old. You just go around and look at these elementary schools and you say to yourself, anybody who's got a straight mind or who's got a mind that uses common sense, and look at a child and go, these bastards were abusing these children. And some of the things that they did to them that I have become aware of because of researching is just so disgusting. It's unbelievable. These people are psychopaths. They're evil. They're satanic. And that is also something that they practice out there in his home. So, people have got to be held accountable. The American people are demanding accountability of all these people that are not only doing this kind of stuff, but also abusing us in many, many other ways. And I wrote.
Anyway, it is just horrendous. And again, I know these topics are very uncomfortable. I know they make you queasy. They make you upset. They make you angry. They make you sad. But we have to face this. And I said it the other day, there are so many very powerful people involved in these disgusting acts. People from Hollywood, people from the news organizations, people that are in the military, people are in politics, the most powerful people on the planet. And it's not just in the United States, from all over the world. And they're involved in this stuff. And for that reason, I contend that the release of this information, the release of the P. Diddy videos, the Epstein list, the Epstein videos, they could very well represent a threat to national security and indeed international security. Because the most powerful people in the planet are involved with this. These are the people who are making policy, passing laws, enforcing laws. I mean, this is what they do. I keep showing you and sharing with you all of the reasons to understand why they want to get rid of a huge number of human beings on this planet. And they're going to do it by any and all means necessary. And of course, this is not goodness. This is evil. It is the absolute pure epitome of evil. It's pharmaceutical grade, military grade evil. It doesn't get any more evil than this. And I've mentioned numerous times on this programs, in my life, I've known some very, very beautiful women. My mom was a very beautiful woman, and unfortunately, she too was abused. And there's all kinds of abuse. There's psychological abuse, there's physical abuse, there's sexual abuse. Women are being abused. And no wonder they have a hard time trusting men. It's become the norm in our society. Just look at the movies. Just look at your television. Everything is sexualized. Women are minimized. I mean, it's just, I can't explain it. I can't rationalize it. All I know is that it is real. It does exist. And it has to stop. It has to stop. Oh, let me see. Have I got another clip here that I can throw in here? Oh, yes. There was a woman by the name of Helen Joyce. And another way that you can destroy a human being is by exposing them to this transgenderism. This is horrendous also. Give a listen to this one. And then we're going to wrap it up. Let me see.
Go to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal.
Oh, that's not the right one. No. That's not the right clip. Boy, how did that happen? I hit the wrong button. Oh, gosh. I'm doing this all on my own here. Let's see. I guess that's the wrong one. I'll have to prepare that one for the next show. Anyway, okay, well, I won't have any more time. I got so many different clips here to get to. It's like a shotgun blast of information. Oh, man, maybe I need to expand the show to 2 hours or something. I don't know. But anyway, okay, let's see. Tomorrow, of course, is Friday, and we are waiting for a big announcement from Donald Trump. He is basically put it out there that he has a huge announcement that he's going to make that's going to be basically earth-shattering. And Pam Bondi alluded to this as well. So all of the media, or all the alternative media, is saying, what's he going to announce? What's coming? What's he got up his sleeve? What's going on? Well, we're going to find out. He said that he would make the announcement on Thursday, today, or tomorrow, or on Monday before he leaves for Saudi Arabia. I wonder why he's going to Saudi Arabia. Remember the last time he went to Saudi Arabia back in 2017? They gave the sword dance. That's only done in a transition of power. And they presented Donald Trump with the sword. And that had never happened before. So something big, I think, is coming down the pike. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. Maybe it's another example of how the people have to be shown. You can tell them and tell them and tell them, but they're not gonna listen until actually it's in their face and they have to look at it and they have to acknowledge it. So I don't know what's coming, but I certainly hope that something big is going to come out of it. All right, there's the music. That's what happens. Another hour shot to heck. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today's Thursday edition of the WTF Reports. I sincerely hope that you're enjoying the broadcast. You find it informative, entertaining, and hopefully motivating as well. Again, I ask humbly that you visit our website, TheWTFReports.com. Pick up some merch. We got baseball caps, T-shirts, coffee mugs. Help us spread the word and help this program grow. If you're listening on Rumble or BitChute or YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. That's how we grow. That said, it's time to say goodbye for today. I'll be back tomorrow with more of the news they hope and pray you never hear. God bless you all. Stay safe, and above all, stay free. And I'll see you tomorrow.
anymore.